Welcome back to the final Exodus, guys. I pray that as we continue to prepare for the days to come, and they're coming soon, that this particular time together will bless you immensely. I really believe that it has the potential to do that. And I'm entitling this message, Do You Think You Should Go In There? That is a funny picture, isn't it? Well, if those are the throne room doors, if those are the doors to the King, to the King of Kings, the King of Kings, then even the King is going to have knocked knees. He's going to shudder when he opens that door to the Holy of Holies. So do you think you should go in there? You know, as we prepare for Judgment Day, there are a lot of preachers who have done, I believe, an injustice to this message. And all I did was look up fire and brimstone, and these are the pictures that it looks like, this fire and brimstone. One of the characteristics of fire and brimstone preaching is it has a finger pointing at the people. And I reject that. I'll tell you why. It's not the message I reject. It's the disposition. Because the point I'm trying to make here is that we are all in the same soup. All of us are the same. In the last message, I tried to bring that point across by showing you Luke 7:47 that says, "He who is forgiven little loves little, but he who is forgiven much loves much." And I really believe the whole human race is forgiven the same amount, the absolute same amount. And nobody needs it more. Nobody needs it more than me, the preacher. And I'm excited about that. And I don't say that just in a pious way. I really believe that. And as I learn the depth of my need, it intensifies my response to what he's done for me. All day long, I work with people who are struggling. I mean, we're all struggling, right? We're struggling to have better marriages, better families, children that are on track. We want better work environments. We want better communities, don't we? And I believe that the message that is critical to accomplishing the change of the heart, a heart change, is the justice of God. You know, we live in a society that says, no, if we just teach the love of God, that'll change people. Just teach the love of God. Well, I think that's important. But I don't think you can possibly understand the love of God if you don't understand this side of it. You can't possibly know the love of God if you don't know what you've been forgiven from. I don't know if that's a good sentence, but you get my meaning, right? So, do you think you should go in there? Do you? Do you really think you should go in there? So we're going to deal with that a little bit in this time together. do you think you should go in there? Are you prepared? I guess is what I'm saying. Are you prepared to go in there? So check this out. I wonder if you knew this verse, Psalms 89:14. This is an amazing verse if you've never really contemplated it. Righteousness and justice are the foundation of your throne. Loving kindness and truth go before you. So think about this. Righteousness and justice are the foundation. So his throne has a foundation. The foundation is laid before a building is erected. Foundations establish the core of the function. Righteousness and justice are his foundation. Loving kindness and truth go before him. Righteousness and justice are the foundation. So I have to ask, in a society that we live, if righteousness and justice are the foundation of his throne, shouldn't that be something we're talking about? Wouldn't that be important? Shouldn't we all know a lot about it? I grew up in a home where my father was a police officer, and justice is something I witnessed. And you know, in a child or in a wife, so my mother and their children watched him function. And we would know if he functioned in a way that seemed wrong and inappropriate. Well, that's not right. That's an injustice, right? So my father had eyes on him as he did his work. Did he do it in the right way as a police officer? Did he perform justice in the community in the right way? That matters to a wife and to children. So even the Lord loves justice. He loves justice and he loves righteousness. And my father loved justice too. That's why maybe I'm not afraid of this subject like most people. And I didn't have it pounded down my throat like a preacher that is pointing to his audience as if he had what he's preaching. You understand what I'm saying? We are all in the same soup because the Lord loves justice, and it's going to come to us too. It's going to come to us too. Because the Lord, it says in Psalms 11:4, is in his holy temple. He is behind the throne room doors, and he governs the children from a seat of authority called a throne. And his throne is in the heavens. They're above the heavens. I mean, he created all things, and his throne is above creation. He has the highest place in the land. And he looks over the sons of men. His eyes behold, his eyelids test the sons of men. The Lord tests the righteous and the wicked. The one who loves violence, his soul hates. So he's testing both of these. He's looking at the righteous and the wicked. And how do we fare? Are we prepared for the day to come? Great questions, aren't they? But we're all in the same soup because it doesn't matter how righteous you think you are. like this preacher has a posture of what we call self-righteousness. Self-righteousness? Self-righteousness. Where everybody else needs it, but he doesn't. There are preachers like that, right? And certainly we're all, I mean, I'm capable of that, right? Oh, that horrifies me to think that anybody would think that I'm self-righteous. It's a horrible thing, right? So his eyes are upon the wicked and the righteous, and upon the wicked he will rain snares. Fire and brimstone and burning wind will be the portion of their cup, because he is righteous. He's not self-righteous. He just is righteous. He operates rightly. He is able to judge where we are not. He is holy and we are not. We are unholy. We are unrighteous. And we are deserving. Maybe haven't convinced you of that yet. Hang on. Just hang on. Don't run away at my first statement like that. Come on. Stay with me. You're going to love this. It's going to just lift you up. The Lord is righteous. He loves righteousness. The upright will behold his face. So the question really is what is justice? If he loves justice, and justice is a foundation brick in his throne, what is it? Well, biblically, there are characteristics that we can see biblically in how he operates that define justice. And even pagans, people without God, know what justice is. It's in our heart to know. And there is a pagan symbol over all court buildings, whether they're federal, state, or local governments. I don't know if you know this, but the symbol looks like this. That's a symbol of justice. And it actually is a good thing that depicts, it's not a good thing. I mean, it's a pagan symbol. It's Lady Justice. Look it up. I mean, I don't know what to say really, but I'm using it because it does have some benefit here. We aren't auditory learners. We need a visual. And this visual does help us walk through the definition of justice. So we're going to deal with it. There's a blindfold, there are scales, and there is a sword. Okay? So we're going to pull this apart a little bit. And today I'm just going to deal with the blindfold. What's the blindfold mean? Why is there a blindfold on the symbol for justice? Why is there a blindfold? Yep, that's right. I heard you. Justice is impartial. Justice is impartial. So we're going to deal with all these components in the days to come, and it's going to go deeper and deeper into what justice really is. So now as I unpack a little bit of what impartial is, I want you to think about this for yourself. Don't suppress this. Don't suppress this, you guys. Because if you suppress it, it's like not being able to talk about the time of your death. It's like, I can't bear to talk about that. But you know, those people who do talk about it will be better prepared. Because it changes. If you think about the day of your death, you're going to definitely live differently. So if you think about Judgment Day coming, it's going to prepare you. Not just for Judgment Day, but for all the days to come, actually. This is going to help you here if we do not suppress the truth. I call it making up the truth. Making up I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll come back to that. Let's go here and look for a second on what the blindfold represents. The blindfold means judgment is impartial. It doesn't have any respect to who you are. It doesn't care. It doesn't care who you are. It's impartial. It doesn't care about the color of your skin. It doesn't care about your nationality. It doesn't care about things like how tall you are or how you look, if you have long hair or short hair, if you're a male or a female. Doesn't care. Doesn't care who your daddy is. Do you know who my daddy is? Doesn't care. Justice doesn't care who you are. It's impartial. So I always tell this story because I'm going to use this story in the future, and I want you to hear it so I can pull it up again for you. Let's just say your father is a judge. Okay? Your father is a judge. Got it? You're going into the Holy of Holies. Oh my goodness. Now think about this story. You are charged with a crime, and you end up in your own father's courtroom. And you're sitting there and your father comes out. You're just appalled that you're sitting before your own father. I mean, you wish you were sitting again. A different judge was presiding over the court today, but it's your father. And he sees you and you see him. And a horror comes over you both, right? This is not a good thing. And he looks down and sees, surely enough, on the itinerary, your name is on it. So he goes through in order, one case at a time, and wonders what he's going to have to deal with you. But your name comes up, and it's your turn to come up to the judgment seat. The judgment seat. And he calls your name, and you go up. And he looks at you and says, you have been charged with a crime. Now, what is he going to do? What is your father going to do? Well, he could all of a sudden talk in a quiet tone, because there's all kinds of people listening and they're watching this unfold. They know what's going on. He could lean over to you and whisper and say, you have been charged with a crime. Now get out of here. Don't do this again. If you are guilty, I'm letting you go. Or he could try you just like everybody else. The only reason he would want to whisper is because everybody would be very angry in the society if he just let you off just because you're his child, right? Can't do that. Judgment is impartial. It doesn't care who you are. If your father is a just judge, he will try this case justly. And if you are guilty, he will award you the appropriate consequence. That's what impartial is, right? Judgment is impartial. So, if you don't suppress this, you will realize this, that we all will appear before the judgment seat of Christ. 2 Corinthians 5:10. Now, if you've made it this far, first of all, I say congratulations, you're amazing. Because most people in our society believe these things. I just sat down with Marie. Marie's my wife. Sat down with her and asked her, What are some ways we deny justice or deny judgment in our society? What do we say? Well, I just heard it just 2 days ago. Or yesterday, just before I did this video, a friend of mine says, there is no hell. Ha! There's no hell? And he says, yeah, there's no judgment either, because everyone is forgiven. God loves everyone. Oh, I could be rich if I had just a penny for every time people tell me that. And I call that making up the truth. That's just making up the truth. Just make it up. Just make it up. And then believe it. You made it up. You're going to believe what you made up? Is the truth something we can just make up? Where do people get this idea that there is no judgment? So there is a judgment, or Christ would not have had to die. Why did he die? That brutal death. If there is no judgment. Why did all that happen? We're just going to nullify that. He did that because God loves everybody all the time, and there is no difference. He's just going to accept. Everybody can go through those doors, hippity skippity. Don't worry about a thing. He loves you. So we know that he loves us, and we know that he forgives. So how do you reconcile the fact that opening those doors has consequences? How do you rectify that? So pressing forward here, I think this one's a big one that we see a lot in our society. I'm special. He loves me a lot. He loves me the most, probably. Do you ever feel that way? Or is anybody out there hearing that? Or I had really good intentions. I try hard. I think that's probably one of the bigger ones too. Well, he's not going to judge me. At least I'm trying. I didn't mean what I did. Or how about this one? I didn't know. So if my father saw somebody, we actually were in his police car when he pulled somebody over one time. And the person, and it's a common response, oh, I didn't know. I didn't know I was going 80. Or I didn't know the speed limit was 55 and I was going 75. Didn't know it. I didn't know. Or I didn't mean it. Or I'm trying to stay inside the boundaries. I'm trying really hard. Or I'm a good driver. I'm a very good driver. Do you know who I am? I'm a good driver. Yeah, but you were still going 100 miles an hour down the freeway through the city. So I laugh because this is the way we respond naturally. We rationalize. That's a good term to look up. Rationalize. We rationalize our behavior. And we try to defend it as if it was okay. Justice doesn't care. It's impartial. Or how about this? I see this from people who go to churches, who go to church. Well, we are all sinners anyway. We're just all sinners. We're all sinners anyway. Good thing he's forgiven, or he's forgiving me, because we're all sinners anyway. If you don't know what I mean, pray about it. I'm not going to explain this. It just makes this video longer. Or how about this one? You probably don't run into this as much as I do. I run into it a lot, even from pastors, and you say, no. Oh, yeah. The law of God. Oh, the Old Testament? That's old. That's been done away with. That was crucified with Christ. And I'm saying, no. That is the revelation of the righteousness of God. And he never changes in his righteousness. It's the same yesterday, today, and forever. He's always going to make it the same. It's the law of God, and it's eternal. Look it up. It's eternal. It's not going away. In fact, that very law we say has been crucified, that's done away with, that's going to judge us. He's going to put it right up to us as a standard, and he's going to measure us up. Say, how did you do? Not going to be a pretty sight. Do you really think you want to walk through those doors? I'm going to leave you on a good note because I know people don't want to leave on a bad note. I know that's hard for all of us to leave on a downer like that. So man has two conditions. Here's the good news, guys. Man has two conditions. He's born of a woman and he's born of God. Have you been born of God? Wow. Have you been born of God? See, check this out. Jesus says, I am the door. I hope this means more to you today. He is the door. He is the door. He is the door to the Holy of Holies. He's the door? I'm the door of the sheep. This is going to just blow you away looking at it like this. He's the door to the Holy of Holies. All who came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. He says again, I am the door. If anyone enters through me, So the point I'm trying to make is, are we getting prepared? Are we getting prepared for the day to come? The only preparation needed is the door. He is the preparation. Because if you can't walk through that door, you're in trouble. If you go by another means, you're in trouble, and I'm in trouble. So we're all in the same soup, but all of us who enter through the only method that the Lord provided. Now, I want to show you why he provided it that way. That's what these messages are about. How does it work? He says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father's chamber, the Holy of Holies, the King of Kings, but through me. So when you walk through the door, you're also going to be met with the judgment seat of Christ. So he's not only the door, he is also the judge. He's the door and the judge. Wow. Wow. Ha! So I'm showing you the good news of Jesus Christ. And I hope this message was good for you today. I hope it wasn't foolishness to you. Because Christ is foolishness to those who are perishing. And if you made it to this point, the last portion of this video, it probably isn't foolishness. You're still listening. But go look up those verses, 2 Corinthians 2:14 and Ecclesiastes 10:1, and ponder on those until we meet again. I'll see you soon, guys. Blessings.